What if I told you that there was once a quarterback who had 5 of the 15 5,000-yard passing seasons in the NFL, yet never won the MVP? How is that even possible? Today, we'll find out and label each of the 5,000-yard passing seasons a robbery or not a robbery of MVP. But first, let's learn about this player. I bet I can do it under a minute. Our protagonist, Drew Brees, went to college at Purdue and was selected by the Chargers with the first pick in the second round of the 2001 NFL Draft. In his first year, he played for 1 game. For the rest of his Chargers career, he was pretty mid, and at the end of his 5th season, he got hurt with a pretty nasty shoulder injury. So, the Chargers thought they could get better production in the draft, as they had the first overall pick. So he got replaced by Phillip Rivers after the whole Eli Manning situation, but that's a story for a different day. Drew Brees then went to the Saints, where with Sean Payton, he balled out. In his first year, he had the most passing yards in the NFL. In the second year, he was second to only 2007 Tom Brady. And in the next year, 2008, was his first 5,000-yard passing season. We're going to start the video with the easiest decision to make about his deservingness of the MVP and get to the harder ones towards the end of the video. "2013, Brees had 5,162 passing yards, 39 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He did this on 650 pass attempts. The Saints went 11-5, making the playoffs as a wild card team, but they had the 4th best defense in the league, so that wasn't all thanks to Drew. Let's see who won MVP that year. Peyton Manning, with the all-time record in single-season passing yards with 5,477, along with 55 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. I think enough has been said. Unfortunately for Brees, Peyton Manning had arguably the best passing season of all time that year, and he didn't stand a chance. This is obviously not a robbery, although he would have won the MVP with that stat line most years. Next was 2011, where Brees had 5,476 passing yards, 46 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He also led the Saints to the playoffs. That seems like a guaranteed MVP award, right? Well, let me introduce you to Mr. Aaron Rodgers. This man put up 4,643 yards, 45 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions with 155 less pass attempts than Brees. All of that while leading the Packers to a 15-1 record and the NFC 1 seed, while the Saints were only 13-3. If you need more reason to think that Rodgers was the deserving MVP, he beat Brees in Week 1. Yeah, not much to be said about this one. This was definitely not a robbery. In 90% of years, Brees would have won MVP with that stat line, but Rodgers clearly deserved it here. Very unlucky. Brees did win Offensive Player of the Year this year, though. Next, on to 2016, the 5th and final year where Brees had 5,000 passing yards, but not the last year we'll be discussing. Brees had 5,208 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. The Saints went 7-9 with the 2nd best offense in the league and the 2nd worst defense. I just can't think of a similar situation more recently. Anyways, let's see who won MVP that year. Matt Ryan. He had 4,994 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. All this on 139 less pass attempts. Let's be completely honest, this isn't even close. Matt Ryan has the way better stat line and completely deserves this MVP. Compared to all the other MVP candidates, I don't even think Brees deserved an MVP vote. Not a robbery. The next year was 2012, when Brees put up 5,177 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 19 interceptions. That is a lot of interceptions, but that was on 670 pass attempts. On top of that, the Saints were the 3rd best offense in the league, but they did have one of the worst defenses in the league, so they missed the playoffs with a 79 record. Again, I just can't think of a similar situation, but in a more recent time. Anyways, let's see who won MVP that year. Adrian Peterson, a running back. It's going to be pretty difficult to compare stats, but I think we can still do it. AP put up 2,097 yards and 12 touchdowns while averaging 6 yards per carry. Now, that's very impressive, but Brees didn't get any MVP votes. Why is that? Well, Peyton Manning got all the other MVP votes with 4,659 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions on 615 pass attempts. Doing some math with averages, we find that if Brees had 615 pass attempts, he would have 4,736 yards, 39 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. Very similar stat line, but I would rather have Payton's production in that situation, mostly based off the interceptions. So even if a QB were to win the MVP that year, I don't think it should have been Brees, so this gets not a robbery. Now, on to 2008, Drew Brees' first ever year with 5,000 yards and the hardest decision of the video. Brees had 5,069 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. Let's look at the MVP from that year. Peyton Manning. He won MVP with 4,002 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Purely based off of these original statistics, this seems completely absurd to give Manning the MVP. We have to go deeper. First, Manning had the second worst rushing attack in the league to support him. Now, Drew Brees had the fourth worst rushing attack in the league to support him, so we can't really give Peyton that much credit for that. Now, Peyton Manning had Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison as his primary targets, two very good receivers. All this while Drew Brees had Devery Henderson and Lance Moore as his top targets. That is obviously a worse duo of receiver. The Colts also had a better defense, which can explain why Peyton Manning had a better record than Brees, but 11-4 is a lot better than 8-8. It's pretty difficult to give the MVP to a QB who didn't even lead his team to the playoffs. We saw that this year with Joe Burrow not getting MVP. The last category that might change this is how much more the Saints threw the ball than the Colts. Brees had 635 pass attempts while Manning only had 555. I'll do the same math as earlier to find that if it was that Brees also had 555 pass attempts, he would have 4,440 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. I honestly still think that this is a better stat line than Manning. Brees did win Offensive Player of the Year this year. After all of the stats that we've looked at, I think it's really close, but Brees should have at least been in the running for MVP. So, if you care about team success, I think that Peyton Manning deserved the MVP. But if you don't care about team success, I think that Drew Brees deserved the MVP. I personally don't care that much about team success, so I think this is a robbery. Let's recap. Drew Brees had 2 seasons where I don't think he deserved MVP at all. 2 years where other QBs had incredible seasons, and I called Brees very unlucky, as he would have won MVP in almost any other year, and one where I think he was robbed of MVP. In conclusion, Drew Brees is one of the most unlucky quarterbacks of all time, as I think he could very easily have 3 MVPs under his belt. Thanks for watching.